Could you imagine walking into a restaurant and trying to order something without a menu? I mean, ultimately it comes down to if you don't know what's on the menu, then everything that you ask for is going to be a one-off. You're going to have to ask the chef, well, what do you have in the, in the kitchen? What can you actually even make? If you didn't have that menu, you wouldn't know what it is they even offered. That's where a lot of organizations run into challenges. And if you think about IT, if everything's a one-off, if everything is a custom build, then trying to drive standardization, trying to make sure that security is applied appropriately, making sure that cost is reduced is very, very difficult because there's no standardization. There's no template, to use to be able to create some of these different services. So that's one of the things that a lot of organizations are really struggling with is if they don't have a menu of services, if they don't have a way to be able to provide back to the business very consistent ways in which they do, they create an operating system or they load all the different patches or the security parameters that are required for different, parts of the organization, it becomes extremely difficult to be able to, offer that at a reasonable price to the organization. So in order to be able to address that, there's a concept called the services catalog. And the services catalog is just like it sounds. It's basically a menu of standardized services that IT provides back to the business. But don't think of this just as applications. Don't think of this just as, operating system versions or whatever it is that, is from a more technical aspect, but really think of it as everything that the business consumes as a service. So it could be phone service. It could be email. It could be business applications, infrastructure hardware, storage, compute. All these different components ultimately can get layered into the services catalog. And the interesting thing about this is instead of IT being all about delivering every single service, in some cases they can also be services brokers, which means that if you're outsourcing email to a cloud provider, for example, IT could then broker that service, make it happen for the end users, and the end user doesn't care where the email is actually stored, they just want the service. So it really puts IT into a different position. Instead of always having to provide the service, they can broker services. So don't think of the service catalog as just something that you have to have internally or that you have to have on premise. This can also be a cloud service. Now, why is Service Catalog so important for a cloud? It really comes down to some very simple aspects. It clearly defines the services that IT offer to the business and end users. That's the first thing. It provides the service details, what it is that's included in the service. What are the requirements? What types of things will you be expecting, from that particular service? All of these things are crucial for the line of business to understand what it is they're getting. There's also a concept of a service level agreement, and these are guarantees that the service provides on uptime, availability, all these different types of things. What types of, amount of storage you would have in the case of email or whatever these things are, whatever it is that the business is requiring. That's all laid out in that service level agreement. In addition, you'll also have concepts like chargeback. So that's one way that we mentioned before is a way that IT can pay for different services. Well, the chargeback concept can be tied into that services catalog so that you've got the ability to be able to know very soon and right up front when you order a new service out of the service catalog, how much it's going to cost you, how it's billed, and all these other aspects of it. And ultimately what it does, it provides a link between what IT does and what the business needs. And this is crucial because this allows you to be able to then tie the services that you're offering directly to business initiatives. It also provides a mechanism for IT, again, to charge back those service costs to the business entity using the service catalog to be able to drive, more revenue, to be able to do new projects and things like that. Some organizations, leverage the chargeback system as a soft cost. In other words, they don't actually charge money to the lines of business. It's not like they have to swipe a credit card or anything, but some of them actually do. And it's a situation where they actually will move budget into IT based on that. However your organization operates, chargeback is a crucial mechanism. And last but not least, by providing a service catalog, you can keep costs and delivery times lower because you're offering standardized services. If you build something once and it's unique and it's this beautiful snowflake, but it's something that is literally has to be done by a craftsman, it's going to be much more expensive to be able to create something like that than it is something that you can provide a cookie cutter approach to. So the idea behind standardizing and delivering in a catalog is you can create these standard set of things or standard set of services that you offer to the whole organization. And ultimately, it's also about reporting and metrics on IT value. So, at the end of the day, being able to have a services catalog can also show utilization, and it can show, the responsiveness of the IT organization, and it's really great information so that the IT organization can report back to the business how it's operating.